What it do, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 210 of the Scary Hours podcast. Appreciate you guys for being here. The love, the support, and I can't believe we're here. And by here, I mean we're closer to December than we are to January, which is so crazy. Like, this year has flown by so fast. And yeah, I've had so much time on my hands to honestly just think about a lot of things, and that is why I sort of titled this episode Why I Still Podcast, which is not necessarily podcasting itself, but I guess let me start it off like this. Have you ever kept doing something that, like, on paper didn't make much sense? Something that took time, effort, and energy, but you couldn't quite explain like why you kept going back to it? And that's like podcasting for me right now. It's something I had a lot of time to think about, why I still do it, all that kind of stuff, And at the beginning, my expectations were very different as to what it is now. At the beginning, I imagined having hundreds and thousands of listeners. And I guess that's for everybody, right? Like, before you start something, you're always thinking about the end goal and sort of like what you want it to be. And you might think about the process in between, but like the end goal is really what drives you and what keeps you going, So on our end, it's having major sponsorships, really big guests, like a certain level of recognition, like all kind of stuff, like all the good things that come with it. But, reality is different. But at the same time, if success was the only reason I started, I probably would have stopped a long time ago. And so that is sort of the reason as to why I'm talking about this. And part of the reason as to why, like, I had a lot on my mind, because a lot has happened this year. And I just asked myself, like, yo, what keeps you going in terms of doing this thing, week in, week out? We could just say an episode a month, 2 episodes a month, and yet we produce weekly. Like, what is the reason for that? So yeah, it's just been very interesting. I think also it's because, like, podcasting just keeps me curious. It's a reason to continuously stay curious, because every week is a different episode. Every week you have to think differently about things you probably wouldn't really have thought about, wouldn't have added, to your diary or anything like that, just to sort of like keep your focus on it. So it's like one underrated benefit of podcasting is your curiosity. Let me put it that way. It forces you to ask a lot of questions. Why do people think differently? Why do I think differently from that point of view? What experiences have shaped them, myself? What can I learn from this? What can people learn from this? And that's why our episodes are always so different, because we're just always thinking about these things. Like, okay, what was the reason for this? What was the reason for me doing this? For example, this episode, right? And I love that. I love just being so curious about things. And podcasting has probably made me a better listener. Not to say that I was bad before, but if you're always going to be talking to people, whether like a co-host or just guests all the time, you have to listen and you have to respond on the fly, right? Whenever it comes to like editing this, in terms of like cutting pieces out, it's very minimal, guys. I promise you. Like, how we speak, and you guys know this for our videos, like, beginning to end, it's one clip. Like, we shoot one take and that's that. And so you have to really think about it. You have to listen. You can't switch off and then try to like come back, because it's going to show. And you also want to be as attentive as you can to the speaker, right? So that the listeners can get the best experience out of whatever it is that you're trying to give them. I think the other reason as well is, like, it's just a good way of documenting things for me. When I listen to like episode 1 to now, which I haven't done, by the way, I will one day, I think, like, just sit and go through every episode that we've ever done, which is a lot. I mean, 210 episodes is not small, but I believe I've probably changed. My views have changed, my opinions have changed. My confidence has definitely changed. I remember the first solo episode. My goodness, I was so scared to record that and edit it. I mean, confidence in hearing my voice as well. Nobody likes to hear that voice. I still don't. I'm just used to it. But trust me, I do not like to hear it. But yeah, I've gotten used to it. I enjoy the process a lot more. I think even the way I speak, even the way I articulate myself has changed. And yeah, the podcast has basically just become a time capsule. And I love that. I love that there's something that I can always go back to and just be like, yo, what was my thought process and my point of view on this thing? And see whether or not that has changed. But above a lot of things, it's the consistency. And I think that's what's made it just that much harder for me to like quit it completely. The consistency to me matters more than the motivation. Because there's so many times, I mean, even with Gus, we've said it, like there's so many times where the motivation is not there and you guys still get your episode, you know? Like most times, most people just see the episodes and that's it. Oh, Sunday, episode out, or Monday, episode out. No one sees the planning, the unmotivated face of me just having to put all the equipment together, press record, take it down, then think about editing, like when you're looking at it like an hour long recording session, you're like, oh my God, I have to make sure that the sound is right. I have to make sure that, mic bleeds aren't crazy and all these kind of things, making sure it's uploaded properly, recording when you're tired, recording when views are low. Like it doesn't matter. You're still being consistent. And that's a very hard thing for me. Or rather it's been a hard thing, but consistency is what has mattered more. And I think that's the reason as to why it keeps going. It's part of the reasons why you guys also get these solo episodes because it's another way of just like checking in on that. Because again, we could just be like, you get it when you get it. But nah, I think it feels good knowing that you guys can almost guarantee that you're getting an episode every Sunday. Right. As long as the season has started and we haven't said obviously that we're going to break or whatever, or like there hasn't been any technical issues, then you guys are going to get your episode. And to us, that means everything. When you guys hit us up and you're ready for it on Sunday or Monday, it means the world. And I love that. I love when people just come talking about what they heard, waiting for the episode, talking about how each episode or like how the episodes drop is part of their routine. So they might listen to it on Sunday or they might listen to it on Monday on their way to whether work, school, whatever it is. It's just part of their routine. And it's such a blessing to hear that. It really is. And yeah, that's honestly what really keeps me going, keeps us going. And I guess success changed meaning, if I can put it that way. Like maybe in the beginning, like success meant like going viral, having all these like crazy numbers and whatever. But it was something that we did tell ourselves, like that shouldn't be, you know, everything. And like I said, it's just a message saying of like how someone said, oh, this episode helped them think like this, do this, see things in a different way. Having just meaningful conversations with people outside, like people I don't know whatsoever, stopping me or us wherever we might be and just being like, oh, you guys are the guys from Scary Hours. Love that so much. And then we just have conversation. We just have conversation about their favorite episodes, episode ideas, and that helps also just becoming a better communicator as well. If anything, that's just growth, stepping away from the artificial, less meaningful stuff, if I can put it that way. Not to say that going viral wouldn't be nice, but having a meaningful conversation with someone I've never met before, even if I have met them just messaging and talking about like, oh, I love that episode so much. I still get phone calls from people just being like, oh my goodness, that episode you dropped, I loved it. I just wanted to let you know like that was a really good one. And then we just have long ass conversations. So I really do appreciate that from people. And I guess you don't always know what your work is doing at the same time. Because again, one episode may get 200 views, for example, or let's say even 10 views. And then a year later, someone discovers it and they tell you that they needed that. I mean, I'm so sure that would mean everything, you know? And it's one thing that we also say with Minister of Groove with the guys. It's like whether 10 people are at our event or 100,000 or 1,000 or whatever, everybody has to have an experience. Like everybody has to walk through and experience something great. How do we do that? Right? That's the blueprint. That's how we look at things. How do we do it? That's the question. And so it's the same thing here, Scary Hours. Whether if it's one listener, one viewer to 1,000, a million, whatever it might be, how do we impact one person? Like, how does it just come across and you feel like, yeah, I needed to hear that? Or whether or not it was serious, of course, right? And yeah, the internet is strange like that. You know, you could have 10 and all of a sudden someone loved it. And then a year later, it starts like blowing up and you're like, whoa, like this episode dropped 2 years ago. Like, how did it just get, you know, how did it pick up so many listeners all of a sudden? So yeah, not everything, basically not everything has immediate returns. That's basically what I'm saying, you know? And at the end of the day, I still enjoy it. I still love it. I still enjoy it, you know, and sometimes that's enough. Sometimes just talking to you guys like this and someone messaging me when they hear it is enough. I love that. Not everything has to become a business, you know, not every hobby needs maximum efficiency. You know, some things are just worth becoming, or some things are worth doing because they make life rich or richer, and put it that way, you know. And I'm not saying that specifically for Scary Hours. I just mean like in general, right? If you have something that you just love to do, do it. Just doesn't have to become like, oh, this has to make me money. This, if it doesn't, then I failed. Nah, don't look at it like that. Genuinely, like if you love to do it, then just do it. And if it does make you money, even better. Like that's perfect. You know what I mean? Like I've thought so many times about, I've had seasons where I've thought about quitting, you know, where things were just tough. You know, there've been seasons where buying, when it came to like buying new equipment and whatever felt impossible. There have been episodes that didn't perform the way I had hoped. But every time I consider slowing down, I just came back to the same question. Would I regret stopping more than I would regret like continuing? Yeah, the answer has been the same since. I would continue. Also, it doesn't cost me to record these episodes, right? I can do them wherever. I can do them in my room, in the living room, wherever it is, as long as the sound is good. Obviously, what will cost is now for them to sit on a host on a platform, but for them to be recorded is not a cost. So, like, why stop now? Basically, now I'm not saying this podcast is forever. And one day, if should it ever happen, then you guys will come and kill me and say, "Hey, by that day you said that." No, 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 no. I'm just saying, as of right now, it's good. There's a lot on my mind. I guess that's also what I'm trying to say. There's been a lot of my mind, a lot of questions as well. Um, yeah. So it's just been tough, but it's been good to have this, you know. So yeah, if you're waiting for proof that your work matters before you keep going, you might stop just before it even starts making a difference. And don't do that. You might as well just keep going. And one day, even if it impacts one person, that should mean something. That means something. Not even should. That means something. And that's how you should take it as well. You know, if there's something that you're doing that just feels like no matter how much you put into it, it's just the same. Well, for one, I apologize. That's the feeling. But two, keep going. Honestly, keep going. The one thing I've been doing more of lately is trying to put God into like every decision, every thought. It's just, am I thinking right? Am I moving according to the way you would want me to? Also think about like, am I even involving you, being the Lord, like enough in my thought process, in my decisions? Like all that to me means more, and I want to do that a lot more. My walk with the Lord has always been important, and these days is the most important thing right now. And yeah, I'm trying to include it in everything. And yeah, I guess we'll see where it also takes this podcast in Scary Hours and everything else in life. So if you do see some like big decision that I've made in life, don't worry. I'm just playing the game of life like we all are. We're all just trying to figure it out. We are just gonna try and try again until it works. That's the ultimate goal, right? Working. Like it working out is the ultimate goal. And yeah, let's all be kind to each other. Let's be kinder to each other. Let's just show more love. Let's be patient. I know everybody's like at the end of things, like they're just so tired of how people are, the direction the world is going, and, all these bleak things that are just happening around. But if we also just enter that same direction, that temptation, then we're no better than what's been around us, right? And so, even though it's the harder decision, it's the harder action of being the better person, I still think it's the best thing to do. Honestly, like whether or not you get hurt a million times, and sometimes our fault by the actions that we take. Maybe we just haven't learned. Maybe we need stronger boundaries, and maybe that's when life will just become better. So yeah, maybe the problem isn't always outside. To be fair, there are a lot of things that we as ourselves need to work on and actually identify and then evaluate on how to make better. But yeah, before I get into all of that, I guess that's what I really just wanted to talk about. So if you are doing something that you've been questioning, doubting, keep going, man. I'm here rooting for you. Hit me up. Let's talk about it. What's been on your mind, what's been bothering you, all that kind of stuff. But once again, thank you very much, guys, for being here. Scary Hours owes you so much. Love you guys from the bottom of our hearts. You guys have just been showing us so much love and support. And we hope to keep producing what we can, just bring out the best content, the best of what we can do. And yeah, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to comment if you're listening on Spotify specifically to individual episodes, your favorite ones. Let us know which ones they are. And yeah, keep hitting us up. Keep sharing with everybody around you. We love it. Until next time, guys. Love and light. Scary Hours. Turn the cameras off, please.